JD, thanks for coming into the boot room, man. Really appreciate it. I mean, listen, the obvious question for me, first off, is how you feeling? Congratulations on winning the league. How you feel? I guess, how are you feeling?
Do you know what? It was unbelievable, Benny. And the thing is, it's like, when I initially got the phone call to go to Rangers, I was just so desperate. I thought, that's what they're craving, you know, that 55 league titles, you know, because they always say, even when you walk around the city and stuff like that, the Rangers fans come up to you saying, this is the best club in the world. This is the best team in the world. And from the day I signed, all they speak about is 55. That's all they speak about. So for me, I think if I'd gone to Rangers and not won a league, I think I'd always look back on it and think, do you know what an opportunity. Yeah. What an opportunity, because if we didn't do it, another group of players would come and do it. Do you know what I mean? So to do it was like, Benny, it's just crazy. And the thing is as well, it's almost like you can't even appreciate, because obviously with no fans in the stadium, we've not lifted the trophy yet. We're not really celebrating in front of the fans. But hopefully when we do at some point, it'll be mad.
For you, JD, I mean, what attracted you to Rangers? Because I'm pretty sure there was a fair few teams when you left Bournemouth and you could have gone to, but why Rangers? Yeah,
and it was crazy because when I was at Bournemouth, you know what it's like. Sometimes everything just happens. Everything happens at once. Like, do you know what I mean? So like the window opened, I spoke to Eddie Howe. He wanted to leave, and obviously my agent, I've got the same agent as Stevie, and basically Struan just said to me, listen, you know, Struan went to one of the European games, and they just pulled him to the side and said, like, Rangers they're just asking about your situation at Bournemouth, like, we'd love to have you at the club, blah 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 blah, and all this sort of stuff. And obviously Stevie being a manager, ex-teammate and stuff like that, it was I met him in London, had a discussion, did a presentation, and he said something to me, and I was like, wow. He said to me, Rangers reminds him of Liverpool. He said the size of the club and how the fans are, I said it just reminds him of Liverpool. As soon as he said that to me, I was like, that's a powerful statement, because obviously we all know the size of Liverpool, size of that club and the history and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, it'd be good for me, like a new challenge and an opportunity for me to win a league title. So yeah.
You mentioned Steven Gerrard there. Obviously, you played with him, as you said, for England. Did you always see him as someone who had managerial potential, or has he surprised you a little bit?
To be honest, I felt like my time with England, the squads, the players I played with, there was other players that you probably thought, no, maybe he will go on to be a manager. I spoke to Jamie Carragher the other day, and you know, Jamie Carragher, you could always hear his voice, really vocal and stuff like that. And I thought, Carragher maybe he'll probably go on to be a coach or a manager because he's so vocal and like you can always hear him and stuff like that. Stevie was probably more reserved and focused, and I mean, probably done all his talking on the pitch. So, but I don't think it surprised me, to be honest, because he's a winner. Do you know what I mean? He's a winner. You know, he always talks about standards, the Rangers standards, whether they, even if we're winning 6 or 7-0, there's standards can't drop and stuff like that. He's a winner. So it's not really surprised me that he's done well, to be honest.
And do you see him as someone who will possibly one day come back and manage his beloved Liverpool? Do you think that's his end game?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I suppose for him, that's probably the main goal in it. That's probably what he's striving for. And I think because he's done so well, and he's sort of like, his name's out there now, and his first job, really. I mean, he went from the Liverpool under 18s and straight into Rangers. And I can imagine even then people probably thought, oh, you know, that's a big job for your first job. And to sort of like, to dominate domestically was special. But people might look at it and think, well, it's either going to be Celtic or Rangers. But I think to sort of like compete in Europe as well, I think at some point, you know, he probably will go on to manage Liverpool.
I mean, and this is the question, because me and you have spoke about this before, and I certainly don't think you do. But in terms of the amount of goals you scored for, and let's be honest, you've not been able to, you've not gone to Liverpool, Man United, where they create all these chances left, right, and centre, and you're still, as I said, in the top 10. Do you think you get the credit you deserve?
I don't know. I'll hate to, you know what, you know me. I'd hate to turn around and be like, I deserve more credit and stuff like that. Mm. But there was times, like I said, I spoke to Jamie Carragher, and he said, do you remember, JD, when I spoke to you about coming to Liverpool and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, I remember the conversation, but it didn't materialize. I remember the conversation. Liverpool wanted me, of course, because around about that time, I was scoring a lot of goals. You were scoring a lot of goals. Of course, I was linked with Man United. I was linked with Chelsea after the war. All these sort of things. But like, when I look at other players that were probably scored less goals than me, when these clubs are interested in them, for some reason, it happened. You know, that Andy Carroll's, when Liverpool was interested in it, he went to Liverpool. You know, Ricky Lambert, Liverpool interested in it, he went to Liverpool. I wasn't desperate to go to Liverpool because I was at Tottenham. I was happy. I had a good relationship with the fans. I was scoring goals. I was playing with good players. But of course, if I would have gone to one of those other clubs, the only thing that would have been probably better for me was I would have probably won more trophies, and probably scored more goals. But obviously, I'm grateful for what I've done and the amount of goals I've scored. But I mean, I'll probably leave that to other people to say, you know, he deserves more credit. But a lot of the clubs who I was linked with over the years, it just didn't get over the line, sort of thing.
And even in terms of England as well, you think about your scoring goals for Tottenham, as you said there. Do you think as well for England, you didn't get enough game time with them because you still scored a lot of goals for England? But I mean, I've openly said it about myself. I feel I should have more caps
100%.
and I would have had more goals. Do you feel the same?
You should have gone to a tournament as well, because you can't score 20 plus goals in a Premier League at that sort of level and don't get nothing for it. Like, and I've said many times, I believe there was times when I was at Tottenham, I was firing, but I always knew that, yeah, of course, I'll get picked in the squad, but I always knew that I'm not going to start. Might get a few minutes here and there, but I'm not going to start. If it's based on merit, then maybe there's times when I should have played. I got, I think 57 caps. Maybe it could have been a lot more, you know. Missing out on a World Cup in 2006. I believe I should have gone to that World Cup. I didn't go. They took Theo Walcott. So there's a lot of things where I think, you know what, that was sort of like, that was harsh. So yeah, maybe I could have played a lot more for England, for sure.
I remember speaking to you when you went back to Bournemouth and you were really enthusiastic and excited about the challenge, back to where it all started in many ways. So what went wrong there?
Just didn't get opportunities, to be honest. Didn't get opportunity. I've scored goals everywhere I've been. I've scored goals everywhere I've been. Didn't get the opportunity. And remember, it was difficult when I left Sunderland, to be honest, because I was loving it there. You know, I scored a lot of goals, not really create chances. Before I went to Bournemouth, scored 15 goals back to back. Got back into the England squad. So I'm going to Bournemouth to play. I've just got back in England squad. I'm going to Bournemouth to play. Went to Bournemouth and didn't get an opportunity. Didn't get a run of games. It was a different way of playing. It was a different way of playing there. I was doing things that, you know, I was doing things, especially like my program was changed. They was asking me to do things I'm not really done before, and it was just that was it. And because I didn't get a run of games, it was hard for me to perform. It was just like stop start. I played 2 games and then I miss a few games. And towards the end, I wasn't even getting on the pitch. And around about that time, Bentley knows me. I know all the stats. Around about that time, I think I was sort of like in terms of late goals scored, 90 minutes plus. I think I was first in the Premier League, to be honest. And so I always thought, okay, then put my ego to the side a little bit. If I'm not starting, at least I can come on and try and get a goal and help the team. But towards the end, I almost felt like I was forced out. And then that was it. Just didn't get an opportunity. And I didn't really have a relationship with the manager. I didn't really have a relationship with the manager. I was closer to Jason Tindall. But I just felt like the manager, he probably didn't know how to manage me for whatever reason. But that was it, really.
But you said about Harry Kane, I mean, we know, obviously, you scored 100 goals for Tottenham, how much you mean to that football club, how much that club means to you. If you're Harry Kane, and this obviously might put you on the spot a little bit, but what does he do? Because we all know how good he can be and where he should be playing his football. Yeah. If you were Harry Kane, what do you do? Do
you know what? It's funny, you know, because if you would ask me this question a few years ago, I'd have been like, oh, do you know what? You got to stay there. What he's done at that football club, he's a legend, blah, 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 blah. But then I think, you know, since I've come away from that, Benty, and I've gone to Rangers, and I've seen that sort of mentality of playing for another big club, but the importance of playing for that club, wearing a badge and winning every game, that winning mentality, the standards and the demands, like you have to win. You have to bring silverware, otherwise it's not good enough, basically. And then when you actually achieve that and the feeling you get from it, you think, wow, man, I wish I had that early on in my career, because that feeling is just unbelievable. That's why you play football. So I think if Harry Kane wants that, if he wants to win trophies, then if we're being honest, it looks like he has to go. It looks like he has to go if he wants to go on and win trophies. But I don't think it'll be easy I don't think it'll be easy for him to leave. And it all depends what he wants to do. It all depends what motivates him. He might be looking at it thinking, I just want to finish off, being the highest goal scorer in this club's history, and then see where that takes me. Hopefully, along the way, win a few trophies. But then, if he's really craving medals, then it looks like he's going to have to go.
Do you think as well, if he does stay at Spurs, and you've touched on it there, I mean, I think he'll break the all-time Spurs record goal scorer if he stays there. But could you see him getting anywhere near Alan Shearer's 260 in the Premier League?
Do you know what? It's you don't know, to be honest. I mean, if he stays injury-free, how old's Harry Kane now? Is he 27? Is he 27? He's 27. I know he's had a few injuries and that, but the injuries he's got is sort of like reoccurring ones. His ankle and stuff like that. He had the hamstring and that. He looks after himself. We know that he doesn't drink. And we'll see what happens. But obviously, it's a big ask, and that to score 260 Premier League goals. How are you gonna reach that sort of thing? And the thing is as well, we're speaking about Harry Kane leaving Tottenham. We if he leaves Tottenham, where's he gonna go? Is he gonna stay in England? Do you know what I mean? So for me, to see someone reach 260, or even break Alan Shearer's record it's a massive ask. I can't see who's gonna do that.